Open the side of our body. So again, if you have scars or pain or whatever, find that edge. We don't want to be too careful. We don't want to stay away from the edge. Really imagine you're at a cliff and you would stay like 50 meters away from the cliff. You don't see the beauty of the ocean. So come a little bit closer to your edge and explore. Inhale, lifting up. So the elbows are in one line and I'm opening that side. And then coming back to center. Again, roll the shoulders back, shoulder blades down, hands onto the shoulders, and then we go to the other side. Press the opposite foot strongly into the floor. So very often we're gonna lift that heel, push the hip out. So we want to stay very centered. On veut rester très centré dans notre corps. Open the armpits so that your chest remains open. And then slowly coming back, open your arms and bring the hands down. So I'm going to show it from the side. So interlace your hands. If this is not comfortable for you and you have a strap or something, you can always take the strap and place it like this. What we want to do, what we want to pay attention to, is really to roll those shoulders back and shoulder blades down. So I'm going to interlace my hands here. My elbows are still bent. Roll my shoulders back. So I'm really opening my chest here. Bring the tailbone down. And then as I stretch out my arms, I bring my shoulders even more back. And again, pay attention to your neck. Like, don't bring your head forward, but imagine that your index is still pushing your chin back. Donc, on fait attention à la tête. On s'imagine que l'index pousse toujours le menton vers l'arrière. On ouvre, on tire les bras vers l'arrière. Take a couple of deep breaths in here and long breaths out. If you want to go a little bit further, from the hip crease. So we're not going to round the spine. We're going to stay very strong. From the hip crease, start to bend forward. Keep your arms long. On garde les bras longs. On inspire, on expire. Allongez. So only go as far as you can with your legs straight. So maybe you're here, maybe you're much deeper. We don't want to bend the knees here. We're starting to warm up the legs as well. Push your arms back. Lengthen your spine. Open your chest. So there is a little bit of concavity into the upper back, meaning a curve towards the floor. Inhale, maybe go a little bit further. So your neck is, are you looking down or gently forward, but don't look towards the wall in front of you. And then slowly press into your feet, activate your core, and come all the way up. And release. I'm going to do a couple of shoulder rolls. And the other side. And then coming back to center. So find your mountain pose again. Take a deep breath in, lengthen your neck. On allonge le cou. And as you exhale, so you're not going to bring your head forward. So as you exhale, you're going to just bring the chin down towards your chest. So it's going to give a big stretch in the neck, in the upper spine. Donc on amène juste le menton vers la poitrine, on relève. Mes épaules ne bougent pas. J'avance pas ma tête. So you're keeping everything. So a couple of inhales and exhales. So, and you realize that the things that we do for now, you can easily do during your day, anytime. And then coming back up. So again, align your head, your shoulders, your arms, and start to look towards the right. Donc on tourne la tête vers la droite. We're going to stay here for 2 breaths. And then come back to center. And then go towards the left. And then come back to center. You might feel that one side is a little bit different than the other. So maybe you want to stay there an extra breath. Donc quand on sent qu'il y a un côté qui est peut-être différent de l'autre, on peut rester une respiration plus longtemps. Eventually, what we're looking for is to have as much symmetry in the body at the muscular level as we can, and then coming back to center. Placing the hands onto the hips, separating the feet a good distance apart. Now we're going to bend one knee. The knee points towards the toes, so adjust your toes, and then bend the other. And you can lift the toes of the opposite foot. We just want to move a little bit. So be careful you're not bending forward, bending back, falling into your back. So pay attention to your whole body. Donc, comment on fait ça? On veut vraiment continuer à prêter attention à tout le corps. So lifting the toes of the opposite foot and then coming back. This time, bring the heels slightly out. Toes are wide. Bring the hands onto the hips. Roll the shoulders back, elbows back, les coudes en arrière, les épaules en arrière, la poitrine est bien ouverte. This time your shoulder blades are really pressing towards each other. So there is a back bend. There is a back bend in the upper spine. Inspirez, et puis on s'en va vers l'avant. So you might say, but we just did that. We just stretched our back legs. This is a little bit different. The hamstrings are strings, so there are multiple muscles in the back. So as we do this, we are touching different muscles from our hamstrings, different strings. So again, see if you can keep your spine long, your neck part of your spine. If this is too much for you, don't hesitate to take the chair or your table, and you're just standing like this, and you place your hands there. That's fine too. But you don't want to sink in your shoulder, you don't want to sink in your lower back. So my core is very active. Mes abdominaux sont assez actifs quand je fais ça, même avec la chaise. Inspirez. So if you don't use a chair, press your hips back. Almost as if you press the back of your knees back as well. My toes are solidly planted onto the floor, otherwise I'm going to fall backwards. Roll the shoulders back. And then very slowly, let go of your hands. On laisse aller les mains, on laisse aller la tête, on laisse aller le dos. So letting go the whole upper body, drop everything down. If you have high blood pressure, si vous avez une haute tension, it's not contraindicated to do this. It's just when you come up to be very conscious of coming up slowly and taking the time to find your stand again when you're up. So my legs are still straight. I'm pressing mainly with the outside of my feet into the floor. So letting go. Maybe shake your head a few times, taking advantage of the weight of our head to open the neck. Donc on prend avantage le poids de la tête pour ouvrir le cou. Inspirez, expirez. And then bring the hands back onto your hips, bending the knees slightly, press into your feet, lengthen your spine. On allonge la colonne avant de se relever. And then coming all the way up. So if you feel a bit dizzy, take the heel of the hand, place it in between your eyebrows. Donc si on est un peu, on prend le bas de la paume et on le met entre les sourcils et on pousse. Pressure point. Next, we're going to do balance. We're going to do the tree. Then I'm going to show you also the alternative with the chair. So it's all about finding strength in our supporting legs. So again, find your Tadasana, find your mountain pose. On va trouver à nouveau sa position de montagne. So if you know you have issues with balance, I would suggest you take a chair or a little bench where you can place your foot on. Otherwise, you just go to the full pose. So place your hands onto the hips, les mains sur les hanches, et puis on lève le genou droit ou gauche. Flex your right foot. So this is just to establish, how am I standing? Is this stable? What do I need to work on? And then place your right foot down. And then let's go to the other side. So lift your right knee. So you don't want to sink into your body. On ne veut pas tomber dans son corps. On veut avoir vraiment les abdominaux qui se travaillent avec nous. Le pied droit est fléchi. We're still in mountain pose with our upper body. Maybe we need to activate our right leg a little bit more. Don't sink into your hip. And then place your right foot down. So we're gonna go into full mountain pose now. So left leg is your supporting leg. So make sure it's really active. And then lift your right heel. Toes are still on the floor. So this is for the full version. Open your hip, your knee, but don't do a twist. On ne veut pas aller faire une rotation dans le dos, on veut garder les hanches bien en face. And then choose your height. So you can keep your toes onto the floor, the heel on the inside, below the knee or above the knee. If your stability is not the greatest and you're going to use a chair, lift your right knee, open up and place your foot onto the chair. But what we don't want to do is as if we're waiting for, I don't know what. So we want to really focus on that standing leg. This is just, the foot is slightly touching the chair. It's just there as a support. So we're still going to have that working into the hip stabilizers here. So really activating into the bum. Donc on active bien dans les fesses. Si on est ici, ici ou ici. La pose reste la même, le support est différent. Sorry, I'm switching too much between poses. So my hands are still onto the hips, les mains sont toujours sur les hanches. Si vous êtes stable, only if you're stable, bring your hands in front of your heart. And if you want to go further, create the tree you want to be today. Maybe you need sun and you want to be a cactus. But this is fine, everything is fine. It's about the stability, it's about this really center, finding our balance starts here. And then once you're balanced, you will notice your breath will calm down, your mind will calm down as well. And then place your hands back onto your hips, bring the knee to the front and the foot down. So just for a moment, come into your mountain pose, observe your body. You might feel a difference one way to the other. Again, place your hands onto your hips, les mains sur les hanches, lift your left heel, the other heel, depending which way you worked first. Open up. Donc on veut ouvrir, mais juste comme les hanches nous le permettent. And then place your foot at the same height as the other side. Now, if you have an injury on one leg or a very bad knee, it's possible that on this leg you can balance and on the other leg you needed a chair. So that's okay, you can do that as long as you stay very conscious with the power of your hip stabilizers, the bum, the core, opening the chest. So it always comes back to being conscious about your whole body. And then again, if you want, si vous voulez ajouter les bras. Et puis tout doucement, on ramène les mains sur les hanches, the hands on the hips, the knee forward, and place the foot down. And come back into your mountain pose. So now, as I said, I want to go a little bit, before we move to the floor, so I want to just stretch out a little bit the whole body through the downward facing dog. So if downward facing dog is not for you, use a chair or use even a counter higher. So I'm just going to show you what you're going to do if you use the chair or the counter. You're going to stand at a distance, separate your feet as wide as your hips, roll the shoulders back, start to move forward, like the same thing we did in the beginning. So your legs are straight. Place your hands onto the chair. Now you see this doesn't look like a downward facing dog at all. So then you walk back a little bit. The most important here will be the upper body. Donc le plus important va être le haut du corps. So the heels of your hands, your whole hand, you can hold onto your chair, depending what you're using, and then press your hips back and start to lengthen your spine. So I don't want to fall in between my shoulders. I want to roll the shoulders out. Je veux rouler les épaules en arrière, pousser les hanches vers l'arrière. So maybe you need to bend your knees a little bit to be able to find that length and then lengthen your legs. So this is, if you're using the chair, go into that position. If you're not using the chair, we're going to inhale, reach the arms up. On va lever les bras Exhale, folding down. Bend your knees, place your hands on the mat. And then walk your feet back towards what you think is the distance for your downward dog. Separate your fingers. On sépare bien les doigts. Les pouces l'un vers l'autre. Bend your knees. Start to press into your hands and lift your hips up. On lève les hanches, on lève les hanches. My knees are still bent, my heels are still lifted. And then maybe you can start to lengthen the legs. But watch out that your lower back doesn't start to round like this. So if you feel that your distance between the pubic bone and the belly gets shorter, keep your knees bent. Inhale, exhale. And don't hesitate to use the chair. It's giving you a similar stretch, especially into the upper body. And then eventually, when your wrist or for whatever reason you're using the chair, slowly move the edge. So we're going to stay here for 3 more breaths. And then walk your feet towards your hands if you're in full downward dog. If you're with your hands on the chair, place your hands onto your hips, lengthen your spine, and come all the way up. So one more before we are down to the floor. So I just want to give you that alternative for downward facing dog. So we're going to do a twist. Again, if you are using the chair, use the chair. I'll show you what you can do with the chair. So if you're using the chair, sit onto the chair, straight upper body, so straight corners between your ankles, your knees, your hips, and then long body. I'm going to do it standing up in a minute. So reaching up your arms, lengthen your body, the more space we have, and then exhale, turn towards the right. Place your left hand on the right thigh and your right hand in the back. So here it becomes important, if you have a shoulder that falls forward, to really go and bring that shoulder back, shoulder blades back. So that's for the chair. So and you're going to stay there, every inhale lengthening, every exhale maybe going a little bit more to the side. More challenging is to stand up, donc un peu plus difficile quand on est debout. On inspire, on lève les bras vers le ciel. À nouveau, si ça c'est pas accessible, bring your hands in front of your heart to start. Inspirez, on expire, on plie les genoux. So I'm not gonna go forward, I'm gonna press my hips back. I can see my toes, je peux voir mes orteils. Inspirez, allongez. You should feel your core getting very active here. Your quadriceps active. Inspirez, expirez, on amène les mains devant le cœur. Allongez, roulez les épaules en arrière, les omoplates vers le bas. Expirez, on tourne vers la droite. A few options. Left hand on your right thigh, right hand in the back. Option 1. Option 2, left arm on the outside of your right leg, right arm up or on your lower back. And the full pose, palms on top of each other. And then press your left elbow into your right leg. Roll that right shoulder back and down. So lots of work into the shoulder. We want to open the chest. We want to find that rotation. Be careful you don't lean over to the right. Donc on ne peut pas aller vers la droite. Inspirez, expirez. And then slowly coming back. So those who are on the chair, have a good twist on the right side. And then coming back to center. Exhale, coming back into our seat. So your feet are quite close. If your knees are comfortable to touch, your feet can touch as well. Roll the shoulders back, lengthen the upper body. Exhale, turn towards the left. Elbow on the outside, or you grab your right hand towards the left leg. Roll the left shoulder back and start to press your right elbow or pull with your right hand on your left thigh. Maybe you can sit a little bit deeper. Again, watch out not to lean towards the left. And then slowly coming back and reaching up. So here too, you need to know your edge. So sometimes we find some poses very boring. Parfois, on trouve des poses très chiantes pour dire. And we want to get out. It's our mind working. But our body can maybe go a little bit further, and that's where we're going to find the edge. Okay, so we are going to move towards the floor. So if you need a bit more time, please go and towards the floor in a seated position. Otherwise, we are going to bring our feet a little bit wider than our hips. Toes are really pointing out. Bring your hands onto your hips and start to bend your knees. So if you have bad knees, again, don't go too far. If your heels are lifting, that's okay. We're not going to stay here very long. What we want to pay attention to is, can I find a straight spine? So if your heels are lifting and you would want to work that flexibility in the ankles, in the beginning, just put a little towel under your heels. And then if you do this every day, like 2-3 minutes, you will see that after a while, you're sitting very comfortably like that. Bring your arms on the inside of your legs. Donc les bras à l'intérieur des genoux, des jambes. Open up. So we want to try to open the chest as much as possible. Take a breath in. So very, very good position for your spine. So as we start gardening, comme on commence à jardiner tous, so if you can do gardening like this, your back is going to be very happy. So of course, the first couple of days, it's not going to be very comfortable, but eventually it becomes very comfortable and good relief for your spine. And now bring your palms together, les paumes ensemble. See if you can press with your elbows into your knees. And lengthen up. Roll the shoulders back as much as you can, even if it's just something that you feel inside and it's not visible outside. That's what counts, what's happening inside your body. If this is all too much, just sit on the floor. We're joining you in a minute. And then release, place your hands in the back and let's sit down. So I'm going to show it from the side. So lengthen your legs if you feel that you're falling backwards. Donc si on sent qu'on tombe en arrière, the first thing to do is to place your hand under your hamstring. On met la main en dessous de l'ischio jambier and then pull it all the way back and then you pull the flesh of your bum all the way back. So you really feel almost the sitting bones and then do the same with the other side. So if you're sitting on the sitting bones, then your whole upper body is going to be happier. If that's like mission impossible, si c'est pas possible, you're still falling back and this is disturbing everything you're going to do, you grab a blanket or a pillow, just sit on the edge so that you can find that length into your upper body. So from here, activate your legs, flex your feet, on fléchit les pieds, on allonge. Take a couple of breaths here. This is a lot of effort in the upper body, so it works the back muscles, it works the core, it works your chest. Roll the shoulders back, shoulder blades down. And then slowly bend your right knee and open the right knee towards the right. So if you feel that your right knee is like floating high up in the air, so you're going to have to pay too much attention to it, again, put something underneath so that this right knee can rest. It's almost like the top of your right foot that's on the floor. So the sole of your right foot is on the inner thigh. So and now I'm falling back, so I need to put my blanket back. So this gives me much more access to my hips. If I'm like this, I don't have a lot of access to the hip crease. So my left leg is still very active. My right leg just opens the hip. And then reach your arms up. Lengthen as much as you can. So if, again, your arms, you know by now, if your arms lifting up is not accessible for you, find a place in between, or even for this one, you can place your fingertips on the floor so that you can really find length into your spine, but don't push just into your fingers. Work with the muscles of your upper body. And then inhale and exhale from the hip crease, reach forward. So if your arms are down, roll the shoulders back, reach your heart forward. if your arms are up, my arms are next to my ears. Inhale, and then exhale, see what you can reach. Maybe your toes, maybe your ankle, maybe your tibia, anything here. So you want to keep your spine long. And you're going to feel there's going to be an opening on the right side. So if you have something hard under your right knee, I always suggest to take something soft so that when there is opening taking place, it can find softness in the support. So just a thing to remember maybe for next time. On inspire, on allonge. So my right leg is active. Ma jambe gauche, my left leg, sorry, is active. It's possible you feel something in the hamstrings. Never pain in the lower back. Donc on ne veut jamais ressentir du mal dans le bas du dos. On inspire, on allonge. On expire, on descend un peu plus. So the goal is not to round the spine and kiss your knee. Unless your knee needs a little kiss, you can go for it. Donc on veut vraiment garder cette élongation dans la colonne. And maybe you're here, and that's fine. So everybody is where they have to be today. And tomorrow is another day. And then slowly walk your hands back. On remarche les mains vers l'arrière. On inspire, on lève les bras à nouveau. Expire, on tourne vers la droite. So you really want to find, with your length in your upper body, turning towards the right, towards my right knee. And then exhale, bring the hands onto the floor. So my left hand is on the floor, my right hand is on the floor, and they're parallel with my left leg. So I'm not going to go and pull on my right knee. Inhale, lengthen. I just want to find that length. So roll the shoulders back. So really important here to find that rotation in the right shoulder, shortening, working with the deltoids. Inhale, lengthen your spine. Exhale, rotate a little bit more. My left leg is still very active. It's a big support in this pose. And then slowly coming back to center. And then lengthen the right leg. Maybe you need to shake it out a little bit. And then we're going to bring the left foot in, open up. So one side can be very different than the other. It's purely related to your hips. Donc on va ouvrir le genou plier le genou gauche, ouvrir la hanche gauche. Et les hanches peuvent être très différentes l'une de l'autre. À nouveau, si besoin, mettez du support en dessous de votre genou. So find that straight position, activating in the core to hold you up. So if you fall into your body here, you might reach your arms up. But if you would stay here for, I say, even a minute, you might really find that you have back pain. So work the muscles, support the whole structures with your muscle. Make sure you can still breathe. Donc, entre tout ça, on veut toujours respirer, inspirer, et puis on va vers l'avant. À nouveau de la charnière des hanches, from the hip crease. Reach up. Exhale, reach your arms wherever they're going to touch. Can again be a very big difference. If you prefer to work with the straps, si vous préférez travailler avec une sangle, by all means. I don't think anybody's new to yoga in the group today, so we all know how we can adjust. Inspirez, expirez. So as you exhale, don't get bored in the pose. Stay very conscious. And I'm just saying that because I used to be like that. Like, come on, is this almost over? And then I would just slump and fall into the pose. So you can always discover something new. And then place your hands next to your leg, walk back. So I want you to walk back and not just pull back up. So just gently walk back. And then reach your arms up again. So again, find your seat, find your strength in your upper body. And then exhale, turn towards the left this time. Inhale, lengthening. Exhale. Right hand is very close to my right knee. My left hand is in the back. Roll the left shoulder back and down. My right shoulder also, but especially my left shoulder will have a tendency to come forward. Donc l'épaule gauche va avoir tendance à venir vers l'avant, donc on veut la rouler vers l'arrière, ouvrir la poitrine lengthening. And then very slowly coming back to center. Let's bring both legs to the front. So if you're continuing here on a chair, you can do this. Just sit on the edge of the chair, open the legs wide. So if your hamstrings are tight, si les ischio-jambiers sont courts, place something under your knees. So don't let your knees just hang in here, because then you will not find any opening into the hips or the inner thighs. Donc on veut avoir un support ici si on plie les genoux. Idéalement, on a les jambes allongées, les orteils vers le ciel. Place your hands in the back, les mains à l'arrière, fingers pointing back. Roll the shoulders back, shoulder blades down. So here you should really see if you can feel some kind of symmetry into the opening of your shoulders, the rolling back of the shoulders, and the bringing down of the shoulder blades. If you feel that there is still that impression of one shoulder falling forward, roll it back again. Do this a few times to really connect with that part of your body. So my upper body, my core is active. And again, from the hip crease, like we've done a few times when we were standing, legs are straight, so don't go too far. You'll feel where the limit is. Your hamstrings are going to scream, maybe in your bum, maybe your little toe. Inhale, exhale. So don't bend too much in the back of your neck, so keep the neck in line with your spine. If you're comfortable, your spine is still straight, you can bring your hands in the front. It might be as a support. If you feel you're rolling back, then keep your hands in the back. Donc si on sent qu'en amenant les mains vers l'avant, on roule, on rentre le nombril, on veut garder les mains à l'arrière pour vraiment garder cette longueur dans le haut du corps. So otherwise you can bring your hands to the front. Inspirez, expirez. Nice stretch in the inner thighs. And again, every time you're gonna, I find in this pose, you easily find your edge. Donc on trouve très facilement sa frontière, la limite. But as you stay on the edge and you exhale a few times, maybe you can move the edge. And that's what we call exploring our body. And in doing that, we keep the mind busy with the consciousness of the body. So we're relaxing the mind, we're relaxing our nervous system. And that's the benefit of yoga. And then slowly coming back up. And then bring the legs together, just place your hands in the back, beach pose, relax. We're going to lay onto our back now. On va aller sur le dos. So come onto your back, bring the knees into the chest. Before you do that, place your hands behind your head and make sure that your neck is very long, so that your chin is pointing towards your chest, and we again have this double chin. On a à nouveau le double menton. Donc on met les mains autour des genoux, and now press your sacrum down into the floor. On pousse le sacrum dans le sol, sans que le bas du dos se lève plus que naturellement. So often when we are going to go push too much, and then our lower back comes into a arching. So that's not what we want to do. We want to keep a natural lower back. So pressing the sacrum into the floor, and then see if you can bring the knees a little bit closer without moving into the sacrum. Donc on amène les genoux un peu plus proches sans bouger dans le sacrum. Bring your hands underneath your right knee, so on your tibia, and then lengthen out your left leg. On allonge la jambe gauche. Your left leg is active, la jambe gauche est active, les orteils pointent vers le ciel. And inhale and exhale. See if you can bring that knee a little bit closer to your chest. The right knee, on amène le genou droit un peu plus proche de la poitrine. Mais il faut qu'on continue à pousser la jambe gauche dans le sol parce que sinon on va pousser le bas du dos dans le sol. So if you let go in that left leg, your lower back is going to push down on the floor. So we want to keep the natural curve. Take a couple of breaths, feel your belly rising and then going down again. And now place your right hand on your right knee. So my knee is quite close to my chest. I'm going to place my left hand on my left hip bone, and I'm going to start to open up my right hip. So my right knee goes towards the side. My upper arm can be on the floor. If you want to go a little bit further, bring your right arm on the inside, grab your big toe, and maybe you can extend the leg. Donc, si vous voulez aller plus loin, mais on veut laisser la hanche gauche au sol. So explore. See where you're at today. Maybe you surprise yourself like, ooh, maybe this gives you a really good sensation, just a taste of something that you would like. So we're really pulling onto that right leg with my right hand. I'm pressing my left hip down. Donc je pousse ma hanche gauche bien au sol. Mon bas du dos reste stable, mes hanches restent stables. Et j'ouvre juste. So if you feel like you're stuck here, maybe play a little bit with the position of your knee. Maybe a little bit lower, maybe a little bit higher. Donc, explorez un peu avec la position du genou. And then let's come back to center. On revient au centre. Cette fois-ci, on met la main gauche sur le genou droit. So this time, your left hand on your right knee. Open your right hand, your right arm in a T. And we're going to go towards the left. On s'en va vers la gauche. On amène le genou droit vers le sol du côté gauche. So right knee goes towards the left. My shoulders remain on the floor, so we don't necessarily want to go too far, but we feel a twist in the belly. Donc on sent une rotation dans la colonne, dans le ventre. If you wanted to go further again, grab your big toe, this time with your left hand, and then lengthen your leg, which I cannot do because I have a heater here. So go slowly, don't pull that leg immediately into the maximum rotation. On y va tout doucement, c'est la respiration qui va nous guider. Et puis tout doucement, on revient au centre, keeping the right knee towards your chest and joined by the left knee. Donc les deux genoux sont vers la poitrine. À nouveau, on pousse le sacrum dans le sol. Press the sacrum down into the floor. Lengthen your right leg. On allonge la jambe droite. Les deux mains en dessous du genou gauche. Both hands underneath the left knee. And take a couple of deep belly breaths. Good massage for your internal organs. Your left foot can be flexed or just relax. It's really up to you. Whatever you do with your foot becomes a habit after a while. So I notice for me it's always flexed because, I don't know, I always do it like that and then it becomes a habit and I really have to force myself to relax my foot sometimes. And then right hand on my right hip bone, la main droite sur la hanche droite. And then start to open towards the left. So again, first, the knee is quite high. So explore a little bit. Does it make more sense, more opening if I bring my knee a little bit lower? So guide your knee with your hands. On guide le genou avec la main et on essaie d'ouvrir peut-être un peu plus. La jambe droite est active, le bas du dos reste neutre, and I'm opening. I'm trying to relax in my left hip joint. You can open your leg, grab your big toe with your left fingers. Keep on breathing, let gravity play a lot here as well. Donc la gravité joue beaucoup ici aussi. Et puis tout doucement, on revient vers le centre, coming back to center, switch hands, right hand on the left knee, open your left hand, and then bring that left knee all the way over to the right, your right toes point to the right, my left shoulder stays on the floor. And again, if you want, you can grab your big toe and open up. But for the rotation, I find I have a little bit more control here for my rotation, and I can slowly letting go. If I have my legs stretched out, I'm focusing more on the stretch in my leg than the rotation in my spine, in my belly. So just observing. One day you might want to feel the stretch, the other day you might need a belly rotation. And then slowly coming back to center. Bring both knees again to the chest. On ramène les deux genoux vers la poitrine. And now lift your legs up to the sky. On lève les jambes vers le ciel. And place your hands, your arms alongside your body, the palms down, les paumes vers le sol, les bras le long du corps. And very slowly, keep your core very active. So if you let go into the core, your lower back will lift. So we want to keep the lower back neutral. Very slowly. Take maybe 1 or 2 exhales to go all the way down. And just before you come down, juste avant de toucher le sol, on sépare les jambes à la largeur du tapis et puis on descend et on laisse tomber les orteils vers l'extérieur. So drop your feet towards the outside. Turn your palms up to the sky. Bring your arms a little bit higher, not too high. Take a deep breath in and a long exhale through the mouth, letting go. Relax your forehead, on relaxe le front. On relaxe les mâchoires, relax your jaw, your tongue, your throat, your gorge. Laissez aller les épaules. Drop your shoulders, they have nothing to carry now. And trust the floor, the earth, to gently let yourself rest and let go the whole weight of your body onto the floor. So we're all practicing from the safety of our homes. So if you want to stay here longer, I strongly suggest that you take this opportunity. If you need to get out, first start to reconnect with your breath. On reconnecte avec la respiration en premier. So feeling the air coming in, going out. Without breath, we're nothing. Sans la respiration, on n'est rien. Le cœur est souvent pointé comme la partie la plus importante de notre corps, mais le cœur ne peut pas battre sans la respiration. The breath is the energy, the prana, as they say. So very slowly, if you want to get out, take a deep breath in and then exhale, bring your knees into your chest and roll to the side that's the most comfortable for you. And then very slowly coming up into a comfortable seated position. Again, find that beautiful length and stability into your upper body, seated. So without too much effort, gently tuck your chin towards your chest without dropping your shoulders, so my upper body remains beautifully open. Bring the hands in front of the heart. Les mains devant le cœur. Thank you for sharing your time, your practice, your energy. I wish you a very happy, healthy, joyful, and hopefully sunny day. Namaste.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Dank mensen.
Hey, Cynthia. Thank you, Fran.
Namaste.